ether, and flow.
Hi, everyone.
Happy morning, happy
This
noon, happy evening.
we at Ethrin Healers are back. Anjali and Katen, we are back with episode one, actually,
Yes.
of our podcast, where we have conversations with light workers. And today we have a guest with us, Anup Sharma. Anup, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, hello everybody. How are you all doing? I'm Anu and I identify myself as a healer, someone who heals others, also as one who is in his own healing journey. I've done some Reiki, different types of Reiki, and also other healing modalities. And apart from being a healer, I also am a corporate trainer, an instructor. I'm associated with the organization. And here I am in this podcast and looking forward to what I feel is going to be an extremely illuminating conversation around trust,
Yes,
as I've been
we
told.
yes. We generally have amazing conversations. So yes, I am also looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about trust, betrayal, and surrender.
The perfect
I,
cycle.
I, yes. So I guess I'll go first about why, how we came up with this, right? So as a Reiki healer, from the beginning of my journey as a Reiki healer, this is something that I think is one of the first lessons that we as healers learn, right? In whatever we do, it keeps coming back to us that we need to just trust the universe. We learn to uh, trust the universe at or to such an extent that uh, everything that we need, everything that we are supposed to find in our lives, it comes to us. The universe brings it to us. Everything that we need to heal is shown to us. So this is the kind of trust that, like, this is what comes to my mind first when we talk about trust. What about you guys? Anjali, what do you have to think of? What do you
Basically,
think about?
yeah, trust, according to me, is basically an act of courage, right? You trust someone, you know that, okay, this is it. You trust your parents, you trust, and the whole process of healing is how we get to trust ourselves as we get to trust the universe, the bigger, higher power out there. So that's my understanding of how we go about trusting and trust. Anup, I'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, in fact, I completely agree with what both of you said. I think trust is an amazing language. And it's not a language that we can easily write or read. It is a language that we feel deep inside. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the last time I trusted somebody, I mean, when I reflect, I don't really have a clear logical reason as to why I trusted that person. It just happened. It just came to me. And a lot of these things, we are talking here about higher power, higher energy. And I think there's some kind of a connection that we develop with people. And that basically makes us feel willing to be vulnerable because we can't share everything with everyone. Right. And we're always like, in some way, I mean, at least for me, who has gone through, you know, like experiences of mistrust and betrayal. Um, I mean, would think many, many times before sharing anything. But why is there a desire to trust, and how? do we come about trusting people? How do we come about being vulnerable, being open to some people? I mean, I think there's something there that makes us become that way, right? And as we're talking about the universal force, universal energy, and I think this is something there in all of us that we ought to tap into, you know, these energetic channels that make us feel more open and more trusting, because I think that's the way out. Like, right? Not just like being closed and, running away from people, because I've done that quite a lot of time and I know how scary that too is, because you feel so isolated and crushed inside. But I believe that for me, that is trust, this ability to tap into your own resources, your abilities to expand yourself and see the bigger picture, to see the light. Yeah, for me, that would be trust.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree that trust is something that is built into us. It is innate to us because we are social beings. We live in a society. We live with other members of our species, and if there is no trust, this is not possible. A society is not possible without trust. A family, all these structures that we know are not possible without trust. So yeah, that is innate to us.
Yeah, the most also I really love how you explain that the trust is a language, right? And how it is difficult. We give our vulnerability hoping, or that's what we trust them, that they would hold that that space for us, right? So that is where that comes in. How about that trust that we have for ourselves, right? Many people,
Yes.
yeah, so you people, they talk about achieving something, doing something, even the slightest things, but try asking, do you trust yourself to do it? That you'll have a very uncomfortable pause there, because they expect people to trust you, but do you trust yourself? That's a big question
Exactly.
there, right? I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that
Right.
this is what I mean. This brings me to, or this brings to mind the reason why. I mean, the other side of trust is betrayal, of course, and when somebody faces betrayal as a pattern in their lives, right? For me, the way I look at it is, if that is a pattern for you, ask yourself whether you trust yourself, because law of attraction, you attract people towards you who do not trust you if you do not trust yourself.
beautiful.
So for me, that's what betrayal is. Everything in your life, everything around you is a mirroring, a reflection of what is happening inside you. So when you see betrayal, especially if it is a repeating pattern, ask yourself, how much do you trust yourself?
Very true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That reminds me of, mirror neurons. Like whatever's happening outside, reflects back to you, and you think that it's happening inside you as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, whether you trust yourself or not, it's like, whether you really believe in your own story. I mean, in your narrative, the narrative of your own experience. Because many people say a lot of things, about what has happened to you, and you start believing in their reasoning. But do you really believe in what happened to you? I mean, do you know the truth of your own emotion? And I think trust also comes when you start trusting your body. You start trusting the messages that you're getting from within. Also, maybe if you're lucky enough, from the outside world, the universal space, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
And and I believe this is a beautiful journey of knowing. I mean, it can't happen in like one day or two, or maybe a week. It's a process of loving yourself, accepting yourself, and listening to yourself, right? Developing that relationship with yourself, and therefore developing that trust, and trusting yourself, and trusting others, that they are good, they are kind, looking at all the positives about people, because as people who have been betrayed, that's the first trigger, right? Will this person, you know um, go against me if I share something, right? So that's the first doubt that comes in, that fear. So that also means that you are not maybe trusting yourself well, or you don't trust that person because there's some kind of insecurity that you need to address that's within you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess this is a kind of a journey that one needs to go through, in the process of trusting themselves and trusting others as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
totally.
instead, we are so used to distrusting our own intuition and distrusting our own body and feelings and everything. And instead, like to take that space, instead we try to control our circumstances, control other people, control everything around us, so that in I mean, when things can be so easy if you just trust and let it flow. Instead, you try to control everything and you find that you really don't have control over anything.
Yeah, yeah. So agreeing with both of you. So trust is basically, it's more of that illusion of certainty that we are creating there, right? Okay, that this will it's definite that this person won't hurt me. This is what it is. And betrayal to me, it's more like that knock on the head, knock on that, creating that crack on that illusion, right? So it's more like a teacher teaching us, giving us that opportunity to look within us. That's just summarizing what you actually said, taking that moment to look inside. Agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yes, letting go of that
right.
resistance. So everything is connected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
once you learn to trust yourself, the universe, and people around you, especially if you learn to trust the universe. For me, that's what came. Like, that's what I learned first, I guess, to trust the universe, and then everything else followed. So what you learn is then to surrender, because
Yeah.
things are in their flow. The universe is in its flow. You just have to. It's like being in a river. You just don't try to, control the flow of the river. You cannot. Once you realize that, you just let go, and you don't have to do anything. Just surrender, and you'll be
Right.
taken. You will be
Yeah.
taken to wherever you need to go,
Right. So putting
Right.
and
examples
it's
to it,
beautiful.
right? Yeah, putting examples to
Mhm.
it, right? People will say, my best friend betrayed me. They were not supposed to do this, or my business partner took all the money away. They were not supposed to do this, and all that examples, real life happening. So it is very difficult, but let them for a
Yeah,
moment, because it, although at this moment surrender looks like a defeat, it is what I see on a grand scale of things is probably it is alignment, getting you to where you're meant to be, with who you're meant to be, to do what you're meant to be. Is That's how I look at it. I'd like to know your thoughts. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Right.
And
I mean, when we are talking about surrender, that's, I believe, the kind of a final stage, towards the more like nirvana state, and where action, I am sure, Katen, you are already there, and that experience I can absolutely relate. It's divine. I mean, that's the only word that comes to my mind, divine. So when the divine is operating through you, I mean, it's the truth, actually. I mean, we might say that I am the actor, but no, I mean, there is a higher force out there who knows many, many more things about you than you do, and is, really taking you to a place where you ought to be, you deserve to be. But I believe that, as human beings, unless we make those mistakes, unless we get, into those detours, we wouldn't know what's best for us. So, so we go through that journey. That's a human journey, and but then finally, as Katen said, surrender is where I think the power of the human lies, the power which is basically to believe that everything that's happening is right, it's the way it should happen, and that there are good things on the way, you know, and every experience is a lesson. There's something to learn out of it. And there's nothing called like, this is my punishment and all that. So there's always a way out of things. And we ought to look at the brighter side, the bigger picture as we move along. So I think
Yeah.
trust also, as we were talking initially, trust on the universe as to what the universe has planned for us. Um, Allowing that to happen, that is, of course, the part to surrender,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, yes, agree, completely agree. I also want to get back to one of the things that you said, Anjali, about surrender being seen as defeat in today's world. But that surrender is actually power.
Yeah,
You need that trust in yourself and the universe to be able to surrender. So surrender is
absolutely.
actually power, not defeat.
It is.
And Anup, when you said about lessons in life, there are people think, or we have been taught to think of mistakes as something bad and something wrong and something that we should not be, committing. But no, mistakes, these are just lessons. Universe wants to teach us. Universe loves us and teaches us because of that love, right? So
Absolutely.
there is nothing wrong with having some mistakes on our path, because that's how we learn. And so therefore surrender is that much more important, powerful.
Mistakes are our teachers.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. How else do you learn?
How else do you learn? Right. I mean, you don't learn much through success. Success basically is the standard which the society sets as, you know, like a signal of accomplishment. But then uh, it's only your mistakes. Like it's when you fall, that's when you know that there's something that needs to be done on your part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are lots of things there. Of course, you have reflection, right? Then you resist because it's not easy. We have a certain comfort system that we have built around certain habits, and we will resist, doing those things that will take us to success. So it's a journey, and then slowly, gradually, we create new habits and we create new pathways, right? And then we go along that path. So mistakes are only opportunities for us to do better, to see the
Yeah.
brighter side of life. Yeah,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
to understand our own limits, our own
yeah,
boundaries, set boundaries. It helps us to set boundaries. It helps us to learn more about ourselves, right? And
yeah.
most importantly, I think to develop discernment, to decide, okay, this might be right for me, this might not be right for me, and therefore this is the choice I need to make. I think that's a very big lesson that we learned from mistakes. This cannot be learned in any other way.
Yeah.
Right.
Create a healthy environment for us to grow towards our highest self.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
right.
And
And I also think that, through these mistakes only we get to know, I mean, what you were saying, Katen, what does not work for you, right? Because
exactly.
as human beings, we tend to become very ambitious and we need a lot of things to look successful, right? I don't know whether that's for ourselves or whether we want to show it to others, but we often have a long list of things that we want to achieve without really knowing whether we really want those things or not. Right.
Yes.
So, this particular drive to succeed, when it doesn't really materialize to actual success, we feel that we are a complete failure. And
Absolutely.
because of that, people do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, I think failures also let us know what doesn't work for us, who we are as individuals, as human beings, right? And
Yeah.
we don't know all of that when we just follow a very systematic pattern that society has offered us, right? Like get educated, do a certain degree, like do science, do medical, become a doctor. That linear graph does not really uh, let us experience what we really are as human beings. What is our
Yeah.
nature, right?
Got it.
What are our inklings towards? So a lot of these failures, misses, mistakes, whatever we call it, really enables us to know, I think, our true nature, what really aligns with our soul, what kind of people do we connect with, right?
Yeah.
Where do you want to stay? Right? What kind of life you want to live? And those kind of things become more clearer through this process.
Yes.
Beautifully
Yes.
explained. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me also, when you are not encouraged to trust yourself, and when you uh, think in these binary terms of success versus failure, and not beyond that, I think that's when a lot of us fall into these traps of being frustrated or depressed or anxious. A lot of those kind of problems we are led into because of all these beliefs that are given to us, things that we have learned for for no reason, if you ask me.
And that's the funny part, right? And people resist, they think this is my right, and they resist, they hold on so tight that they just do not want to go with any other way, because according to them, that illusion of right, that this is how what has been taught to me, just like what you said, right? This is how it is, it has to be, it is supposed
Mm,
to be, right? And I,
mm,
I think everything would
yeah.
begin to change when they let go of that illusion of control. Just
Mhm.
summarizing
Yeah,
what you both already said.
yeah, yeah.
Right,
And
right.
it's only when you are able to let go of that you get into your own authenticity, who you actually are, like Anup said earlier. That authenticity is I mean, the feel of when you are your authentic self, when you do things that make you authentically happy, like that help you bloom into what you are, what you are actually, what you are supposed to be. The feel is entirely different.
Yeah.
And therefore,
Um,
for me, through personal experience, what helped me come out of I've gone through depression, anxiety, all of those stuff. And I remember moments in life when I realized that the only thing I need to do is trust the universe. I use an affirmation in my life: I trust in the unconditional love of the universe. That has been enough for me to I mean, the way it has taken me out of depression and anxiety. My God.
yeah, yeah, agree. What I was saying is the best. We as humans, when we were born, as children, this is exactly what they do. I mean, they try to walk, they fall, try to walk again, they fall. At what point has this changed? When did this all change, right? I mean,
Yeah.
naturally we were born to trust the process and just go ahead. Okay, you might fall. Okay, I'll try up again, I'll try up again. When did this all change? At what point did this all change, right? So that's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Blame.
Maturing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can blame so many people out here, but then at the end of the day, somebody might just look back at you and say that you were the one to internalize all those things. You were the one to say yes. So you are the one to
Yeah.
get into those doors, get through those structures and accept so
Yes.
many things. So I
Yes.
think now when I think of my life, like if I have to do something new, like maybe a new course or something that is new to me, I ask a lot of questions to myself,
Mm,
whether this is the
mm,
right thing for me. Why am I doing this? What is the purpose that it is serving? How do I feel when I do this? Right? What is my larger mission? What is my larger goal? What am I trying to realize out here? So I think that kind of a questioning mentality is something that is not really taught to us in our very traditional conservative Indian homes, I believe. And that's the reason why we also kind of agree, accept, whatever is told to us. And many times we don't have the right questions to ask. We don't even know whether we can question certain things that come to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And to
what?
and to add to that, sorry, to add to
No, no,
that,
please.
not only about asking questions, but also how do I feel about it in my body? What does my body say about this step that I'm going to take, or this option that I'm going to opt for? How do I feel about it in my body? Nobody talks about this.
Your gut
How does it
knows
feel?
it. Your gut knows it. That's how they ask you to practice listening to your gut. You will get a gut feeling. What they say is, when you are at this crossroad, whether you want to turn right or whether you want to turn left, you will know, how about I go right? Okay, you will get that uneasy feeling in your gut, and that's when you
Yeah,
know, okay, not this. Okay, probably that. Right? So it is
yeah,
a practice that we need to come back to, if those who do not, it's not into it yet.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And also at times when it's the right choice, it just feels right. That is also there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Right.
you feel calm, at peace. You feel you have a right feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't describe it, right? I mean, it's more like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is it. We know.
yeah,
Yeah. And many times it might be that your mind doesn't believe that it's right. Right. Your mind is still in that questioning stage. It's still trying to see what is this? I mean, this doesn't make sense. But then in your heart, you feel like it's going the right way. And I should
Yeah.
just follow the heart. I mean, that would be me right now. But I'm sure a lot of people out there would still go with the mind and would do that logical, analysis, and then, take the next step.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, the gut feeling is, real information. I think your
Yeah.
body has so much to offer you, and
yeah,
you don't have to use words or language. You know so many things without words and language, and there's so much to articulate, to experience out there, and to know. I mean, the language of knowing could be beyond language itself. So there's so much there to explore.
True. True. So going back
yes.
to the part where, Anup, you said that asking that right question, right? So every time when anyone is faced with a phase of betrayal, the common question that most people question is, why me? Why was I betrayed? Why did this happen to me? So I what I would suggest, or I would recommend, during, ask, just tweaking that, I know the same thing, ask the right question. What is this betrayal teaching me? Going back to the phase where, a reason to look inside,
Hmm.
Yeah,
right?
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
Right.
another
So,
question is, why didn't I see this? Like when I was going into this, why didn't I see it? You are seeing it. You're just not trusting yourself. Your body is telling you.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I think you can also ask as a response. I mean, better question than a why question would be, how, like, where am I feeling this? How am I feeling
Mhm.
this at this
Spot
Yes.
on.
point? What is it trying to teach me, tell me? Okay. And I think you can
Yeah.
go a step further and ask, like, what do I need to do now? What's the action I need to take now? Right. And then again, you can further deconstruct it and ask, what's the first step I need to take now? You know,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
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 and then you can take the rest of the steps as you go along.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Anjali, I think this is the perfect time for you to pull out your cards if you want to pull them.
Oh, okay. I'll have to keep them ready. I'm sorry.
Ah,
Let me
okay.
just get them right away.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah.
I didn't know about this. This is, I mean, a surprise for me. I'm really curious now. What's coming?
No, so Anjali is also a tarot reader. I also do some bit of oracle card reading. So when you said explore and ask questions, I mean the one way to ask questions to the universe, to yourself, to your intuition is also using these tools and methods like tarot cards, oracle cards, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
It's
So
a method to
Absolutely.
tune into your intuition. So I felt that this must be the perfect segue.
Yes.
absolutely. So the oracle card that I am very much drawn to using is called the Gita deck. This is the deck, right? And I really love how the cards speak to us. And
Yes. So
yeah,
I guess a nice thing to ask now would be a message for the collective, for everybody who's watching.
absolutely.
So while Anjali is shuffling, for people who don't know or are not used to this process, basically while we are all focused on this process, we are putting our energies into the cards that she's pulling. So she's tuning in it into our energies. The cards are also getting tuned to our energies. So and it doesn't matter whether you're physically present or you're watching at a different time or whatever. In the quantum field, we are all together. We are all doing this at the same time. So the cards are reflecting our energies back to us, and Anjali will be using her intuition as a reader to when she pulls out a card to interpret it and tell us what it means for us.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm in the process. I have two cards with me. I'll be pulling out one more. So this will give out a beautiful. All right. So these are the three cards that I have. I'll just show you. So this is one,
Mhm.
this is two.
Okay. What does it say? I didn't see the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
of it.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
And this is three. I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay?
Yeah.
There
Yes.
will be
It's
battles in life, no doubt. Okay? Which means there will be difficulty where you will face and you might have to choose, and choosing is more like gambling, right?
Mhm.
You do not know the outcome, but
Yeah.
ultimately trust that highest source that you have within you. You got this, whatever that your gut, or it's really beautifully in alignment with what we've been speaking about, all the
Exactly.
three cards that has come up. Thank
yeah.
you so much, universe, for
Wow.
this.
Thank
So
Absolutely.
you.
yeah, so yes, whoever is listening to this, and if you are at a position where you want to decide on something, take a moment, go to a place, tap inside that silence inside you, and try to question, just as we have been discussing about listening to your gut, whether you get it or not. There are different ways where you will get your answer. One is automatic writing, just like Anup said, right? You put out whatever is coming to you, then you break that down, you will get something out of it, right? So automatic writing is one way to do this. And another, what I would suggest is setting an intention to the universe. So how do you set an intention to the universe? You tell the universe, I align with all that is in alignment with myself and my highest self. Everything that does not serve my highest self will not be attracted to me. Something on that grounds. Keep saying that. You got it.
Yes. And to add to that again, also ask for guidance from your spirit guides, from the universe. They are all there to help you. I trust the unconditional love of the universe. In unconditional love, the universe will guide us who ask.
Yes. Exactly. I think that we need to be ready to accept, right?
Yes.
To
Yes.
allow ourselves to be guided, and things will happen. Magic will unfold.
It will unfold. Yes.
Yes.
This has been beautiful.
This was amazing.
It is.
Absolutely. Loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
So
so much, Anup, for
thank you.
coming, sharing. It really means a lot.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for creating this space and for inviting me. And I am sure that there are all healers out there, people who resonate with the kind of things we have spoken and will be interested in this and will try to, take their own journeys on trust along this way, along this light. So I really look forward to more of these things in future, and waiting for the next one also after this.
Same here.
Likewise.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
to our viewers, if I mean, please let us know your comments and feedback. We are always open to knowing what you think about this episode. But also, if there's somebody in mind, if you would like to come on in and speak to us, have a conversation here, most welcome. Please let us know. And if you have other people that you want to suggest that you would like to see on this platform and having a conversation with us, please let us know.
Also, if there are any particular topic, please feel free to share your topic, or if there are any situations or uh, you know your life events that you want to understand more into the spiritual realm, or you want to share your spiritual journey with us, we are always here, all ears.
Yes. So have
Thank
a
you.
very good evening, night, morning, wherever, whatever, whatever time you are in. So we'll see
Yeah.
you next time.
Love
Bye
and light
bye.
to all.
Bye.
Bye, Anup. Bye, Anjali.
Bye.
Bye.